juice for the hero.
Like the juice.
T-minus 50 seconds.
At the point where we're at, it is a lot easier for new people to get up to speed really quick.
T-minus 40 seconds.
Let's go. That's a W. That's E1. That's E1. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight?
T-minus 30 seconds.
Rick Hill taking over our camera. I think there may be a penalty for excessive celebration, but you know what? I'm going to let that one slide.
T-minus 20 seconds.
That's what I'm talking about. Now you having some fun.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Take a deep
4,
breath.
3,
This is it right
2,
here.
1, 0.
Boom! Let's dig in, everybody. Welcome back to the Football Card Quest. I'm your host, Andy Case, and with me, as always, on Thursday night's live stream, where we go hunting for some underpriced football cards on eBay and talking NFL schedule and looking at a potential $3 million first place prize with another Bestball Mania 4 draft tonight on Underdog Fantasy later in the stream. Steve, how are you feeling tonight, my friend? Your camera looks good.
So far, so good, man. I'm feeling good. I am definitely anticipating another best ball draft. I would love to do minimum one a week on the show, and I'd love to do like 3 a week off the air at least. I got a lot of catching up to do to get my little badge on there. So, but yeah, no, I'm hyped up, man. And every week we're getting a little bit closer to the start of the season. So that's great news. How about yourself, Andy? How you doing over there?
Doing fantastic, man. Getting super excited. Got a lot of irons in the fire. Got a lot of research brewing. Just published the quarterback hype index rankings, like post-draft, heading into the season. Now, quarterback rankings, running back rankings, posted those. Went through the top. I've got like 48 quarterbacks I'm tracking this year. I've got over 48 running backs. I can't remember the exact count of running backs. And next, I'm going to go ahead and knock out tight ends because it's such a small list of like players that you want to track for tight ends. And then I'll tackle the biggest positional group, and that's wide receivers. I probably am going to have like a close to 100 wide receivers, maybe a little bit more that I'll be tracking. And what I did, Steve, because last week we looked at the opening schedules on NFL.com. It's kind of clunky with the ads. And I really want to pinpoint, because we did this last year, Steve. I don't know if you remember, we had Jonathan Taylor cards on. He built a little schedule optimizer with what he had chances of teams winning. And we were trying to predict those teams that were going to start off 3-0, because when we look at it from 2020, 2021, even last year, I went back and looked at my top 10 videos that I put out every Monday during the season when I look at the players who had card prices that went up the most and had these big surges in sold volume and sold prices. It was always, when we're talking quarterbacks, it was guys that were leading their teams to wins. It was quarterbacks. It was on winning teams. It also helped when the skill position player was on a winning team, but a big dominant performance from a skill position player finishing as the top 3 in the positional category that week actually created quite a stir of activity on eBay, especially when you combine that with, let's say they're a rookie, a second-year player. They're on a big team. They've got a lot of promise. They've got some dynasty value behind them as well. So that's really what I've been trying to pinpoint, man. I know I rambled there for a minute, but, man, I'm so excited about this. I'm ready to dig in, man, and I'm ready to do some work tonight.
Yeah, no, everybody wants to be associated with the winner. Everybody wants to be like the first person to be like, hey, I told all my friends about player A before they were a bust out breakout kind of guy. So that's what it is all about. And, if you're trying to get off to a hot start, not just in fantasy, but maybe get some cards listed and get those moved at a peak price. Yeah, you're right. You want the team that's going to be popping off week 1, week 2, week 3, and looking like they could run the table. I mean, look what it did for the Eagles last year. And, if it's a more established quarterback, even a guy like Burrow, who's got a lot of room to grow, even at his price point, could do exponential things for his values.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a guy like Jalen Hurts or Justin Jefferson, that I know I've got profit in this player. So let's take, for example, I have an optic hollow Jalen Hurts and Justin Jefferson that I'm currently fielding offers for, and I'll probably sell those cards heading into the season. Although if I was, if I had them on my dynasty fantasy team, I am not going to be trading those guys unless I'm getting some serious draft capital in return. And even then, I probably wouldn't trade those guys, because those guys are cornerstone players that you want to build around, that you want to hold on to for a long, long time, because they're super young and they're so good. And they're going to be doing this for a long time at such a high level. So, it's a difference, but these guys aren't really part of my personal collection, Steve. I've got a lot of profit in the card. I've got buyers demanding to purchase these cards from me for a clear double up. Why not take that? Because otherwise, I don't have those cards sitting on my wall. I don't, man. I've got them in my box of cards I've got listed on eBay here. They're not really part of my personal collection. Why not? I mean, why not sell them? And then, you move that card, you make a happy buyer. They've got a smile on their face. They feel like they've got upside in that card. They're going to move on with it. It's got a new home. I now get some nice cash back in my pocket that I can then zag when everybody else is zigging at the beginning of the season and invest into maybe something for my collection, or maybe another prospect or speculation, a sleeper that I want to invest in for later on in the season or playoffs, what have you.
And a lot of times the best time to get in on a guy with a lot of promises when he's having a bad string of games, or down on his luck, or misses a few weeks because of an injury, or, whatever the case is. Late Stick in the chat mentioned Justin Fields. I mean, if you look at what his base optic hollows go for now, let alone his PSA 10, any of the optic rated rookie variations go, I can't even believe it. I mean, I think that they're in the realm of even getting close to like the Burrow price point almost at this point already. And you got to ask yourself, like, do you remember where he was this time last year? I mean, dirt cheap, super cheap. Nobody was buying Fields. He was, this guy can't throw, this guy can't that, blah, blah, blah. And
he bombed in the rookie year. I didn't want him. I thought it was the dumbest thing I ever did, drafting Justin Fields in my fantasy team in the 4th, 5th round. I didn't really have any of his cards at that point because of the way Panini does the release schedule. But you're right, man. Then he goes out and he has these breakout games, the rushing performances. They figure out how to unlock that potential in him. Not really a big increase at all, if any, in the passing department, but he did have a little bit better connection with Cole Kmet. There was some decent games there. I mean, he even had some decent connections with some no-name guys that most people have never heard of. And this year, it should be even better. But you're right. Now he is a firm, second top tier quarterback going in fantasy drafts, hyped up. Rookie card values are double, maybe triple what they were this time last year.
Yeah, you could have got base optics, base prisms. I bought base optics last year for anywhere from $3 to $5, and I think that you'd be lucky to find them between $20 to $25 now. So I mean, that's a massive bump. And his high end stuff is almost not attainable, for the average buyer anymore. So we've gotten into crazy buying territory for him, and we talked about this before. Andy, what is coming up this July, sir? That is the National in Chicago, and the card to buy, the player to buy, is going to be Justin Fields. Everyone's going to be buying Justin Fields. Everyone's going to be selling Justin Fields. So if you are going and you got some that you're sitting on, bring those bad boys with. They will be easy to move. If you make it 20 feet into the door, I'd be shocked.
Unfortunately, I don't, but I know a guy that does. Shout out to Late Stick Sports Cards and Collectibles in the chat. He said Justin Fields for life. Still plenty of meat on the bone for his cards. Got Derek in the chat. He just got his mind right. He's ready to go. Over under 3.5 picks for auto picks for Andy tonight. Scatterbrain in the house. Bob in the house. D Money. Let's go. Steve, I didn't like the NFL clunky website last week, man. It wasn't working for me because I can't really get a good view of the schedule. So I like Excel. I like what I can do in Excel and be able to see things on the same page. Nothing fancy here. No formulas, no pivot tables, nothing crazy. Just teams playing teams on a spreadsheet. Got week 1 over here on the left, week 2 in the middle, week 3 on the right. What I did was I highlighted in green the teams I feel confident are going to win their matchup. I feel confident the Chiefs are going to beat the Lions Thursday night. It may be kind of close, but I feel confident in the Chiefs winning. And I highlighted the ones in yellow, the team I think is going to win, but I'm less confident. It's more like it could be a close game, could be an upset, but I'm leaning this direction.
I think that, yeah, the Falcons-Panthers, I think, is going to be pretty close. I mean, I'm pretty high on the Panthers this year. I'm not expecting like a super massive winning percentage, but I do think they win that division. So I think that's going to be a really close game. I think a lot of it comes down to is what's Bijan's first game look like. I mean, that's going to ultimately determine if the Falcons win or not. If he has a superstar type game, they could definitely win that game. But I think the Panthers defense is good enough that barring any setbacks, no turnovers or anything like that, the rookie QB could have start making a name for himself week 1.
Yeah, I'm giving the Falcons, this is a big one, it's division rival. I'm giving the Falcons the win here because of the home field advantage. I think their defense is going to be underrated. And I think that, Bryce, he is a rookie quarterback. And the Falcons, even though they do have very much a rookie quarterback themselves, they are going to run the ball lots. And that conversion rate from college to the NFL, especially in a guy like Bijan, I think it's going to be pretty seamless. I think it's going to be a ball control style matchup for the Falcons, and they're going to go out there and kind of establish themselves on the ground early and often. I think they end up just winning this game with that home field advantage.
See, where do we leave off on week 2 here?
So
Cardinals, that should definitely be a one-sided game for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you the first thing that I've noticed in the first 3 weeks, because, this is really what we're trying to pinpoint. And I think what we can do, Steve, is a team that you want to avoid, absolutely want to avoid, is the Cardinals. Do not buy any players on the Cardinals unless this is for your PC, because they are not going to win. They're going to go 0-3. I mean, high probability here. We dove into the coaching, the changes that they made, to the lack of Kyler Murray. This is going to be bad. They're playing where do they go? Oh yeah, they're playing the Commanders in Washington week 1. That's a loss. Then they're going to the Giants. They're playing at home against the Giants in week 2. That's another loss. And then they're playing the Cowboys in week 3, a third loss, 0-3. Definitely a team you want to avoid, Steve.
Yeah, I have to agree. And, when we talked about the Cardinals last week on air, I threw out there that I think they'd be lucky if they win 4 games. I did actually go ahead and check the season odds for the Cardinals wins, and it's 4.5. So I wasn't too far off. Out of 17 games, that's not a good win percentage for the season. So it doesn't look like they'll be off to a good start. Honestly, if they were doing it right, they'd be playing for a pick next year. They're kind of in a massive rebuild mode, and you got to ask yourself, if Kyler doesn't bring it this year, is he going to stay with the team much longer? Because I know they signed him to a big contract, but at some point they're going to have to decide if they're moving on or rebuilding around him.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. So we're avoiding the Cardinals. Another team that I really think you can avoid and it pains me to say this because this is my team. So maybe I'll be buying during this period just because I know I'll be able to buy so low, is the Bucks. I'm really concerned about this. I'm really concerned about Baker Mayfield starting for us here. Concerned about our new offensive coordinator. I'm not a big on Todd Bowles. You've got the Bucks at the Minnesota Vikings week 1. They destroyed the Packers last year in week 1. Now they add weapons on offense. I still think their defense may not be great, but it's probably good enough to generate a couple turnovers with Baker Mayfield. Who knows what we're going to get there. I've got the Vikings winning there. Not super confident, but just looking at it unbiased, I've got them winning there. And then in week 2, the Bears are coming to Tampa. So I actually highlighted the Bucks yellow here, Steve. But I mean, depending on how the Bears look week 1 against the Packers, this is an interesting matchup that the Bears could actually beat us this time in Tampa. But in week 3, look at who we're playing. Look at who the Bucks are playing. The Eagles are coming to Tampa. So that's a clear loss there. So I'm looking at a 1-2 scenario at best. And therefore, that's a team I would avoid. Yeah,
the Bears come out guns blazing week 1. Watch out for that week 2 game. But I don't know. There's no way to know anything about how well the Bucks are going to play. There's so many unknowns. You've got Trask, who's never really played, and you've got Baker Mayfield, who's just not really that good. But he does have like a couple moments of greatness here and there. But just overall, he ain't it. So who knows?
I'll tell you.
I'm more inclined to go Bears on that one, but
yeah. We're going to dial up the blitz. We're going to dial up the blitz, but you guys got a super mobile quarterback. I mean, you can easily neutralize that. You've got a massive upgrade in a receiver in DJ Moore. Darnell Mooney will be healthy. I mean, I feel that this is I probably should highlight the Bears yellow at this point, just because I feel like we'll probably try and be too aggressive, and then all of a sudden DJ Moore just burns us, in like a classic DJ Moore style. I mean, it's like I just feel that Todd Bowles he's gonna be aggressive a lot this year because his job is on the hot seat and he knows it, and so he's gonna try and generate a lot of pressure, a lot of turnovers, and maybe even more so than what he has in the past. So I'm just not confident that we'll win that one. I mean, I may flip that to the Bears there. But then, certainly in week 2, we're definitely toast against the Eagles at home in what Filthy says is a revenge game, which surely is. And I mean, the Eagles are going to be super confident. So, yeah, no confidence there at all.
What are you thinking about the Texans-Colts, Andy? I noticed you didn't fill that one in. I mean, that's another game that could literally go either way at this point. It's one of those games that could be an even wager come Sunday morning.
We've got the Jags beating the Colts in week 1. I think the Colts defense may be a little bit underrated. They've been pretty solid the last couple of years, but I don't know. They some of these defenses are going to be hard to predict because we can look at how they did last year. We can look at the coaching changes. We can look at who they added to the roster. But there's always teams that you think their defense is going to be bad heading into the season. They're like, oh crap, man, their defense is actually pretty good, and they show up and play. And it's like, I think that could be a situation with the Texans bringing in D'Amico Ryans and drafting Will Anderson. Now you got second year for Derek Stingley and stuff. So I'm wondering if the Texans defense is going to be underrated. They're going to be better. And it's like, how good is Anthony Richardson going to possibly be? I think he's going to end up starting the season, Steve. At this point, I do think he's going to end up starting the season because of their head coach, Shane Steichen. He's gone on record saying he thinks the best way to build experience for a rookie quarterback is to get them actual playing time. He wants him to get on-the-job training. So I think it's going to – and he did the same thing with Jalen Hurts. He's used to rushing quarterbacks. He can design an offensive system around a quarterback rushing attack with limited passing. So I think he feels confident and being able to roll out Anthony Richardson week 1, to be honest with you. So I don't know. And you got CJ Stroud on the other side. So I haven't highlighted it. Who should I highlight here? It's going to be yellow. I mean, I don't think we could be super
I'm
confident
going with the Texans, even though I got a lot of guys I like on both squads. I think that Richardson, if he does start, it's going to be some growing pains, you know.
So week 2, did I put the Jags over? Well, you know, they hung in there with them in the playoffs last year. They only lost by a touchdown. So I think this is somewhat of a revenge game for the Jags. It's in Jacksonville.
Was it the game Chad Henne played though?
Well, it's possible he played a portion of that game. Was that when Mahomes busted up his ankle? I thought he already had a busted ankle heading into that game, because that was the divisional round after the Jags came back and beat the Chargers after being shut out in the first half. Then they go to Kansas City, play them in the divisional round, and they actually hung in there pretty decently. But of course, it was in KC. You know, it was a very difficult matchup that they ended up losing. I think this is a big testing game. I'm actually leaning towards the Jaguars at home, but if I was a fantasy gamer, I'd be licking my chops, because this game's going to turn into a shootout. Because, you know, when it comes to fantasy and like projecting points for skill position players, really what I'm looking for is 2 high-powered offenses, 2 high-octane quarterbacks, because they can continue to push points, score points, regardless of the defense. They're going to continue to find a way to put points on the board. And I think that's exactly what the Jags and Chiefs do here. Who comes out on top? Probably the Chiefs. So if we were a Vegas, if you know, I was running a bookshop right here. Yeah, you're right. Okay. The point spread is going to be in the favor of the Chiefs. So you're right. I should be highlighting them yellow.
I think the Jaguars still are, you know, improved from last year, but Chiefs are the Chiefs. You know, there's definitely a possibility the Jaguars pull it out, but you can't ever rule the Chiefs out, no matter who they're playing against.
I'll tell you another team I'm avoiding week 1. It's just, I know that they can pull out a win any given week. Because they're the Patriots and Bill Belichick's their head coach. They invested quite a bit in their defense once again this year. They bring in Bill O'Brien, which is not much of an upgrade, but definitely an upgrade over Matt Patricia calling offensive plays. So I still, though, week 1 against the Patriots, that is the highest priced NFL ticket, like regular season tickets. The tickets for that game are already over $800 for a seat, Steve. It's the highest priced opening week game. It's the highest price game in the first 5 weeks, I believe, from what I read. So, they play the Eagles at week 1, and then they get the Dolphins week 2. The only advantage here is they're playing at home, and then week 3 they go to the Jets. So it's like, man, they have monster matchups each of the first 3 weeks that could go either way here. Maybe they sneak out a win, but I don't know, man. That would be insane if they won all 3. If they did, Mac Jones cards would go crazy once again, probably. But I can't see it happening, man. I can't see it happen. In fact, I think the Eagles are going to win. I think the Dolphins are going to win, and I think the Jets are going to win.
The Dolphins historically are just the biggest thorn in the side of the Patriots. So I agree, even though the Patriots are at home week 2, that's, if you look at the last several years, the Dolphins have their number somehow.
So the teams we're highlighting in red are teams you want to avoid investing in their quarterbacks right now. Like you want to, generally speaking, stay away from their quarterbacks, because if they go in 0-3, 1-2, the quarterbacks' card values are going to drop in value, generally speaking. They're going to drop in value and it's hard to resist that November dip, Steve. We've seen it. You know, even the Joe Burrows are susceptible to it if they don't get off to a super hot start. The Patrick Mahomes, you could have bought Patrick Mahomes back in 2021 whenever he had that midseason dip. I mean, if you don't get off to a red hot start, the chances are, if you're a quarterback, you're going to be subject to the midseason dip in November, and that becomes the new best time to buy, just generally speaking across the board, their rookie cards. So that's what we're pinpointing here. We want to find teams that we can avoid, so then we can narrow in on teams that we want to target.
Looking at the schedule here, Ravens. Someone mentioned Ravens in the chat. I think they kind of got a little bit of a gift first couple weeks. Their schedule's not looking too tough. They got maybe week 2. Well, Bengals week 2 is going to be obviously a tough match, but week 1, week 3, they got Colts, at home, and they got Texans week 1 against Baltimore. So it's a pretty good spot to be in. They'll probably start 2-1, it looks like, but I have my reservations about the end of the season for them.
You have reservations for what?
The season-long success for Baltimore, but I do think they will start 2-1.
Baltimore. Yeah, I dig. I agree. I think Baltimore is one of those teams that you could target early on, Lamar, and people are going to realize, oh yeah, this new system with Ted Monken and Lamar and Odell's there, who's just happens to be the most popular guy in the NFL outside of the NFL, and this kid Zay Flowers is like electric in the open field, and look at Rashad Bateman healthy again, and Devin Duvernay catching a crazy pass in the end zone. J.K. Dobbins is healthy. Oh my God! And then the defense is looking improved over last year. So I could absolutely see that narrative playing out for the Baltimore Ravens. I think that, generally speaking, Lamar's card prices are like pretty fair right now. I have a pink optic hollow that I got it listed for like 150, but I don't have any, let me pull up our Keep 'em web app real quick. I don't have any offers on it really, Steve. So I really haven't seen the hype pop too much, just generally speaking, for Lamar. I've seen some pretty big transactions on some Lamar stuff.
I think just for his market as a whole, people want to see him play football. He missed the last 6 games, including going into the playoffs. So I think people want to see him not just play well, but they just want to see him play, period.
I just want to see real quick where he is, where he's at, correlated with Josh Allen across the board. I think that actually, yeah, okay, that is Josh Allen. So yeah, he's less than half of what the Josh Allen cards are. Optic, yeah, look at that. Optic, yeah, about half of what Josh Allen values are, generally speaking.
Damn, 373 for a base optic, Allen.
Whew.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I remember. I remember last season though. Those got up, man. That's actually fairly down compared to. Look at where they were beginning September last year. There was spikes $600, $700 on the regular, man. That's the MVP talks. That's all the wins talking right there. The wins, big performances.
And that just goes to show you that, sometimes the off season or sometimes the late regular season, if the team is seemingly not going to make it to the playoffs or the Super Bowl, like, there's your entry point. You can literally see a graph where a card that's now going for 330 was going for 6 something at one point. So again, you may not get that high, bulletin sale that the high point was, but you might get around there. You're definitely gonna, see a gain. It's just a lot of it's just about timing and patience. for anyone that's just kind of like getting into card flipping, you know, I know that there's like this desire to buy and then resell it the next day for, you know, a ton of money. But in reality, a lot of it is timing, patience, and, you know, entry price point. So first, make sure you're buying it at a good price, and then make sure it's a desirable player, and wait for the guy to heat up and then move it. So you saw the chart right there.
Yeah, and right now I've got like the top 10 quarterbacks to own. I'm going to make a video on this that's like a short and action-packed and goes through like their top 3 cards as well. But just like these are guys that you want that are very liquid, that are selling. That this is, think about hype, right? So these are guys that you want to own, and you can make a nice profit on heading into the season if you bought them well below comps. That's Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, who I want to go back and look at the schedule, but I think he's got a pretty juicy opening 3 games. Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. There's what the age and draft capital combination will do for you. This orange bar, Steve, that's the age score. The age score takes into fact how young they are and how high they were drafted. You combine those two together, and then to get a mean, and you give them an age score. So the blue bar is their team score. That's comprised of the size of the fan base, the ESPN power rankings, strength of schedule, and I think I have, those 3. Yeah, that's pretty much the 3 main factors that go into their team score. And then this yellow bar is their dynasty fantasy value, and the gray bar is a Hall of Fame marker. So you can see Patrick Mahomes this year, his Hall of Fame marker has gone up like a few points after this last Super Bowl win.
Actually surprised Daniel Jones is that low. Like,
well,
even lower, and maybe it's just because he's younger than Trey Lance, but we saw last week his stuff's starting to run over Dax as far as value goes.
I think he's undervalued. I think that his dynasty value may be a little low, and I think that after about halfway through this season, it may be a lot higher, and he may be pushing this Dak Prescott type range right here. But he's also, I had to go back and look. I mean, he's from the 2019 class. He was a first-round draft pick, but I had to go back and look at his age. Maybe his age score can be adjusted slightly, but he doesn't have any Hall of Fame marker points. You know, you can see Aaron Rodgers has no age score because he's so old at this point, but he's got a ton of Hall of Fame clout, you know, so that's where he gets a lot of his hype from, and a little bit of dynasty value. So I think Daniel Jones' dynasty value could go up. Obviously, the team score is pretty good, but it's not as big as like the Cowboys or the 49ers, you know, or the Eagles or the Chiefs. The Chiefs they're probably the same as the Chiefs, but the Chiefs fan base is just massive now.
Someone's asking about the 2 49ers neck and neck on the index. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, this could
be said about that. I think that there's a lot of uncertainty there, but I think that the real monkey wrench gets thrown in when Lance gets moved. I don't think they wait for the season to start for that to happen.
You know, Lance is lucky, man. If he wasn't on the 49ers, his score drops. His blue bar is team score, remember? So if he wasn't on the 49ers, this drops. Free agent is 0 because not on a team, or, you know, just a lesser team. Like, look at Bryce Young and CJ Stroud's team score. It stinks, you know? So is Anthony Richardson. It's not good. The Colts don't have a massive fan base. They're not high up in the power rankings. So, yeah, Trey Lance is getting buoyed a lot by that. And then the draft capital and his age. His dynasty value has plummeted, man. His dynasty value has really plummeted, and that is the dynasty value is derived based on prior production metrics, efficiency metrics, and then also his contract situation, his opportunity in the offense. So his dynasty value has plummeted over the past year. And the only reason why he's up here is because of how young he is, his early first-round draft capital spent on him, and then the team that he's still on, the 49ers. Brock Purdy's age score actually is a little too high. I got it on here.
Do we think, Andy, that there's genuinely a team that would or could trade for Trey Lance that he ends up a starter right away? At this point, I think no, but
where? Yeah, I mean, I think no. With the depth of the class that was just drafted, I think all the teams that really had that need either drafted one, or like the Bucs, they picked up Baker Mayfield. They're not willing to spend the necessary capital to get Trey Lance right now. I think that'd be pretty crazy.
What if Lamar gets hurt? What if
Tyler Huntley? Tyler Huntley's still on the one. I think they like him. He's okay.
I don't think that, if let's say they start 2-1 though. I mean, he's not winning games. He's not winning a lot of games for them. Realistically, he's maybe a 500 quarterback, maybe at best if the defense can carry. But what's another team that I think he could potentially go to? I mean, what if Kyler gets hurt again? Are they going to run with who do they even have at backup in Arizona?
The Miami one is interesting, but they brought in Mike White from the Jets, who's got a lot more experience and can command the offense. Because you think about it, Miami doesn't really need that mobility out of a quarterback, because they have so much mobility out of their wide receivers and running backs. So, yeah, Huntley did suck last year, so that's a possibility. Baltimore,
or maybe like LA. There you go, Derek. We're on the same page.
The Rams, the Cardinals drafted a quarterback. I forgot his name. They drafted a quarterback like the 4th round. But I still think they have. They have Colt McCoy on the roster. I had to go back and.
I don't know behind Stafford who they even have, but Stafford's coming out. They said he's fine.
Stetson Bennett. They drafted Stetson Bennett.
He's coming off of a pretty serious neck injury, so I mean, there's always that risk. Titans. Derek said Titans, but yeah, man, honestly, the Titans already have one guy they can't throw, so I don't know if they want another one.
Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, Arizona, I'm just looking at Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune. He was drafted in the 5th round. Obviously, not a whole lot of promise there. Atlanta, they picked up Taylor Heineke, but they seem pretty content with Ritter. Heineke brings a lot of NFL experience, so he can command a run-heavy offense. But, yeah, I think Baltimore would be a decent fit if Lamar went down with a season-ending injury. That would definitely be a fit. For the Rams, you're looking at Matt Stafford and Stetson Bennett, which, Stetson Bennett's, I don't know. I think he's in a decent landing spot to learn behind a proven veteran and a solid play caller. And, he could potentially step in with how old he is. The guy's already like 25, almost 26 years old. He's led a, multiple national championship University of Georgia team. So I could see them easily rolling him out. And then if anything goes wrong, you just blame it on a rookie quarterback. Because I imagine at this point, Sean McVay might be on the hot seat, losing his job if they have another really bad season. Or he's got a perfect scapegoat in Stetson Bennett.
That team is amongst other good examples, like the Browns when they got Odell and Jarvis Landry. Like, just goes to show you, like, you could be great on paper and not do anything, and you could go from a Super Bowl team to probably the worst team in the NFL in the blink of an eye, with really not that many roster changes.
Yeah, you put a few pieces together, man, and you're in the game. You know, the only other team on here that I was really bullish on the first 2 weeks, I felt good about them, was the Commanders. So Sam Howell, week 1, and then week 2 they go to Denver, and then week 3 they get the Bills at home. So it's like, man, okay, if you're gonna make this play on Sam Howell, you may want to be ready week 1 because he is so young. This is his NFL debut. He's speculative. Is a later 3rd round draft capital. This would be a good chance, as his values have clearly gone up since before the draft, right? Because a big winner from the draft, them not drafting a quarterback, releasing Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke. So Sam Howell, right? His cards are going to continue to appreciate. I think his fantasy value, you're already seeing that go up as well. I have not seen another draft, Steve, where he has gone undrafted. We're getting ready to do one here in just a couple minutes, guys. So buckle up. We're going to do a Bestball Mania 4 with a chance to win $3 million. But I think this is a week 1, Steve. I think Commanders, you got to make a note, an asterisk here, to flip those Sam Howells week 1 when they destroy the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think that's kind of what will sell a few people, to see him actually win a game. And if he wins it in a dominant fashion, you know, you're going to have a lot of people climbing aboard, you know, the bandwagon there. The Broncos are a tough team, although they didn't really look like it last year. It's going to be interesting to see if, you know, under a new head coach, they perform a bit better. But, you know, we're only talking about week 1 right now. They do have some serious roadblocks week 2 and week 3. But, again, they're playing at home against the Bills, who have a good defense, but also have been known to give up a lot of points from time to time. So I could even see that being a closer game than most people think, week 3.
Yeah. So any other teams jumping out at you on this, Steve, that you feel really confident about?
Let's see. You got the Jets.
Okay.
I think you got it right with the Jets. I mean, they could potentially come out of the gates screaming and only light that fire further for them with the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers here. So I have a feeling that's going to be like one of the stories to track in the AFC this year, and that's going to be like, can he go back to the Super Bowl? Can he make the playoffs with his first year with a new team? Because that's kind of why they brought him in for. But it looks promising. I mean, the first 3 weeks look really good for the Jets.
Yeah. I'll say another team that just jumped off of me, Steve, is the Rams. Don't touch any of their players, especially the quarterback, Matt Stafford. His values, they spiked on the Super Bowl win, but they've immediately gone back down. He's got to have a lot of personal collection value to you guys. I mean, he's put up a lot of stats. He's now got the SB victory. But outside of that, do you think Stafford's going to make the Hall of Fame? It's going to be borderline. I don't know how much longer he's going to play. If he plays a couple more years, maybe he can grab an MVP. And, man, he's going to have to put up some – he's going to have to get another ring. He's going to have to get some more accolades to make it in the Hall, I think. I think he's going to always have some collectors, but it's not many. His cards really aren't going to take that leap at this point. It's Super Bowl or bust for him. Like we said, Stetson Bennett's already 25-something years old. And, you know, there's a reason why he was not drafted till, the 5th or 6th round. So, and Kupp is their only wide receiver. They literally got no wide receivers. I mean, the wide receiver outside of Kupp is Van Jefferson, who's decent. But, I mean, this is a rough, man. This is a really rough situation. The running back situation is rough with Cam Akers.
You know what, though, with how much they throw to Kupp, now that could be a good or bad thing for fantasy purposes. That's a great thing. For real NFL purposes, that can make you turnover prone if you're dialed into one guy only. I think this is actually the year you actually see a big target share or a bigger target share for Van Jefferson. And then I think, a lesser known guy that's kind of like a Danny Amendola light, Julian Edelman light. And that's their number 3 receiver, which is, I can't remember that cat's name, but very similar to like Cooper Kupp, but just a not as athletic version. Ben Skoranek, I think is the guy's name. They're not terrible, right? If they can show up on defense, because they do still have like a semi-Pro Bowl type defense, if they can show up on defense, they don't necessarily have to score 31 points a game. But I like them having Kupp, but I agree with Derek in that they may need to move them now because they're not going back to the Super Bowl this year.
I think the Browns have sneaky upside here out of the gate, especially with them having a down season last year and Deshaun Watson being so rusty. They still have one of the top running backs in the league, solid offensive line, great wide receiver weapons that just got better with adding Elijah Moore. And now you got Deshaun Watson back in his second full season now, removed from the scandal. So the Browns playing at week 1 at home against the Bengals. Bengals are notorious for getting off to slow starts. So this could be actually a Cleveland win here. And then you've got in week 2, you've got the Browns. And let's not forget that the Browns have a great head coach in Kevin Stefanski. And Nick Chubb is still one of the best downfield runners in the game. Efficiency metrics, I mean, the guy is incredible. He's still in his prime, Steve. He's still in his prime. Looked at his efficiency metrics, his age, everything. He's still in his prime, Steve. So Browns, and then week 2, they go to Pittsburgh, another divisional matchup. But, I mean, that's like, hop on the bus, couple-hour drive, right? I mean, it's not that far away. And then they go week 3, they got the Titans at home. And then week 4, they got the Ravens at home. So I think the Browns have some sneaky upside to start the season that I'm not sure how much Deshaun Watson would have to do to overcome some of the disdain in people's mouths around his character. It could be a lot worse. I think that there's a lot of people like the Tiger Woods scandal that will move past what he did, what he allegedly got in trouble for and everything, not to get into the whole thing, and get back to just focusing on his athletic ability and how well the Browns are doing.
They seem to have a pretty decent schedule the first 4 weeks, but I keep going back to the well on this one, and that the guy that I really like on that team from all purposes, fantasy or hobby value, and that's still Nick Chubb. We often talk about the dying art of the workhorse running back. I mean, he's the epitome of the workhorse running back. Maybe not the last, but one of the last that we'll see. And he's got the type of numbers that could, maybe enshrine him someday if he keeps it up.
Yeah. So at this point, Steve, I think it's time we hop over to Underdog, give you guys some teams to we haven't really done a whole lot of sniping tonight, but we have given you quite a few teams that we know 100% confidence to avoid, which then helps you focus in on the teams you want to target. Specifically, if you can find a guy on that top 10 or 20 QB hype index list that's significantly undervalued than the rest of his peers, then bingo, you've got yourself a great target. So that's the goal there. And then you go hunting for those variances in the rookie card values and try and find that scarcity and try and find that auction ending on a Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. and come in and snipe.
Andy, I'm going to have to keep an eye on the Bucs schedule. I know there's at least one game for sure I want to go to down there. And it's looking like the ticket demand may not be an all-time high this season. So I know I'm interested in week 2, but week 3 looks kind of nice too. Maybe I'll have to stay a whole week and watch 2 games.
Whoa, that's big time, man. Yo, definitely. It shouldn't be that much. It shouldn't be that
Bears
much.
and Eagles back-to-back weeks in Tampa. That might be worth coming down for.
Seahawks Giants. That's going to be a close one. I think another team, real quick, before we move on, Steve. I think that it's safe to say that. Well, I should actually say this. I think the Steelers might be a sneaky contender to start off really hot here. They get the 49ers at home against we don't know who at quarterback, and then they always show up to play at home, especially week 1, healthy TJ Watt. There's just all kinds of stuff that could go wrong for the 49ers in that game. And we know that the Steelers offense is getting better. So actually, I've clicked the Steelers to win at home there week 1 against the 49ers. Definitely would be a little bit of upset according to Vegas. And then week 2, we talked about that matchup against the Browns. We were just talking about the Browns, but that could easily be the Steelers. Once again, it's at home. If their Browns are still rusty at all, that could be a Steelers victory at home. And then week 3, they go to the Raiders. I actually think this could be a Steelers victory as well. So, and then they get the Texans in week 4. We could be looking at Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers as incredibly hyped up through the first 3 to 4 weeks. And their fan base is just massive. And I know it may be at a premium to buy Kenny Pickett over especially guys like Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, right? But, man, it's so appetizing. Maybe, I know there's a lot of distaste in people's mouth around Deontay Johnson because of all the drops. I also have Kenny Pickett right here. I mean, he's right on the fringe of my top 10.
Don't forget, there's a couple interesting things, though, about Deontay Johnson. One of them is Kenny Pickett finally figured it out at the end of the season that that's the guy he should be throwing to. And, both of their numbers improved as a result of that. The other is there was a metric I watched on a video last week, and it talks about luck involving wide receivers, and there's a similar stat in baseball. And the least luckiest receiver of the entire season last year was Deontay Johnson. His touchdown total went down to maybe 1 or maybe it was 0. I'm not sure. But that should be expected to go back to a more reasonable number, like 6 to 11, somewhere in there.
Interesting. Well, it's hard for me to buy into Deontay Johnson. I like him. I think he's going to be the most undervalued guy on the team besides Allen Robinson. And Allen Robinson's not undervalued. I'm not saying that he's pretty much dust at this point. But I think that Deontay Johnson is truly undervalued. And I think a lot of the focus is on George Pickens Just because, look at the highlights George Pickens put up last year and how young he is. And George Pickens' physicality and the way he plays the game is really fun to watch. And then Pat Freiermuth is a really good tight end. So, and then Najee Harris. Najee Harris has got all the draft capital, and he's in his prime, man. So, I think that this situation here for the Pittsburgh Steelers is interesting. I think you can make a combo play here, Steve. I think you can go at Pickett, looking at his prism here, down on the PSA 10, 44%. Probably not a whole lot of them back. Interesting.
Why is it on there twice?
A shout out to our man. Well, let's see. This is the Donruss. Sometimes we get different.
Oh, it says score, Andy. The second one says score.
Yeah. So I have to go. Pick the thumbnail on the cover page, pulled in different picture. This is the Donruss. This is the Donruss 58 Pop 125. Look at the grade hits. So our guy Jaritos added in for us the percentage to hit a PSA 10 to hit that grade. So basically now we know 45% chance to get a PSA 10, 39% chance to get a 9. 11% eights. Yeah, sorry, guys. This is the score. Yeah, it's the score. So yeah, that makes sense. The score is going to be down, especially when you get new cards coming out like the Prism.
Call me crazy, Andy. I know it's typically the least popular mosaic, but that green and yellow looks really nice with the uniform color.
Very few Prisms have come back yet. You see Howells is at 25. I'm guessing Pickett's are pretty low. You like the mosaic? Which one?
The green and yellow. It's in the second row.
Whew. Yeah, that's
that looks
nice.
real nice with the Steelers uniform color on top of it.
Yeah, it does. 8 sales in the past month. 73.
That's not a bad price either, and that's a very low pop.
Yeah, especially when you compare a 9 that ended May 16th for $40 in auction, right, to a 10 that ended for $59. I mean, that's a great deal, because look at the buy it now just on May 9th of 100. That sounds more like it. 115. Yeah, that's more like it. Those buy it nows.
Right.
So there's an opportunity right there to target some Kenny Pickett in auction. That's a great indicator that Kenny Pickett is going undervalued in auctions specifically, that you can then target and turn around and flip those at the beginning of the season. So maybe he's a guy that I look at in Chicago as well, around all those Bears fans.
Yeah, and on the topic of guys that could come out with winning records, I think that's a great option. Even though I'm not necessarily sold on him long term, I think that as a short term play, looks like a really good one. Derek
said the absolute makes his hands look a little smaller. All right. It is time for us to hop over here to Underdog Fantasy. And if you're new, make sure you guys use that promo code QUEST to get you that 100% instant deposit bonus up to $100. We're hopping into Bestball Mania 4 with $15 million in prizes. Are you kidding me? You're basically drafting a big fantasy team. We're doing 18 rounds. You're drafting an 18-man fantasy team, and you do not have to do any waiver wire adjustments, no start-sit adjustments, no oversight during the season. You just draft a big team and let Underdog Fantasy do the rest, accumulate the points, and win that money at the end of the season. And you can get free tickets into this with that promo code QUEST, 100% instant deposit bonus. We're going to see if we can draft against each other in this Bestball Mania 4 right now. Are you guys ready?
Get us a nice countdown going, Andy.
A nice countdown.
So after one, make sure you say now, so we all click the same thing.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 5 Mississippis. 5 Mississippis. Scatterbrain, just open up the main home screen, click on that Bestball Mania 4 logo, 30 seconds per pick, and click join whenever I say enter, okay? We're going to do 5 Mississippis. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. 3 Mississippi. 4 Mississippi. 5 Mississippi. Join. Yes. Let's go.
Let's go.
So look, there's plenty of room. You just hop in that Bestball Mania 4. If you're new, you probably even have time to sign up with promo code QUEST. Get that instant deposit. There's no slow drip. I mean, Steve, you get it right away, my man. So you can hop in with free tickets, because you could put in 100 and then all of a sudden your balance will pop up 200, and now you've got 4 free tickets. And hey, maybe you bring home the big bag of $3 million. We've got the schedule up. So while this is filling up, I'm going to show you guys this right here. This is what I want to have up. Week 17. I got week 17 way over here. So week 17.
Oh, we got a draft order. We got Derek going first. Andy, you're 5th. I'm 6th. We got late stick after me. There's bound to be some serious butt hurt between the 3 of us drafting all right after each other. Scatterbrain's in here. What's up, Scatterbrain? If you're in here and I didn't mention you, let us know who you are in the draft.
Oh, look at Derek, that dog with the 1.1.
We got 2 of the experienced badges in our draft. One being Derek, of course.
So I'll tell you, there's a couple matchups I do want to target. That Giants run game against the Rams in Week 17. Gimme. I think that's a great value. Look at this Chargers Broncos. I think that's a divisional shootout, playoff implication. That's a fun game that I think you could stack. Obviously, Chiefs and Bengals are going to be a big one.
That Vikings Packers is
Vikings
one.
Packers
Eagles Cardinals is going to be a friggin' shootout.
Eagles Cardinals. I mean, I'm hammering the run game on the Eagles for that. I mean, that's a hard green Eagles stomping. But, with Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift, plus you still got Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott, it's going to be a running back by committee. I was listening to some experts earlier today. They're projecting about a 15% carry share for Kenneth Gainwell, 5% for Boston Scott, and then about a 30% for DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny. And the thing is, though, it's like, how can you project either one of those guys to stay healthy at all for any length of time? I'm on the clock, though. I can't be auto-picked this early. Can't do it.
No, not allowed.
I don't have any Cooper Kupp, but Bijan Robinson, I think I'm going to go ahead and start this thing with Bijan here.
Let's go.
Going to go with the most hyped running back heading in the season besides Christian McCaffrey. Let's do it. I'm starting Bijan. Let's pull up that draft board.
I'll roll with the old faithful here.
Looks like I got to resize just a little bit. I need to resize. I need like 133% zoom.
Hey, Tom. We got Tom in here.
Let's see. Squashy? Homer?
Tom, what's your name in here?
I see Derek 1.1.
Is it pick 3?
That's late stick. There's Scatterbrain. Late stick went Diggs.
You got Christian McCaffrey. Very nice.
Tom went Christian McCaffrey. Oh, Francis 1966. Nice. CMC. Yeah, can't go wrong there. I mean, I've got him neck and neck with Bijan, and San Fran offense is dynamic.
I'm jealous, man. I had McCaffrey in a lot of these last year, and it worked out really well. Although Andy, in our Discord league the previous year, McCaffrey was definitely painful as he got hurt very early in the year.
Finally got Scatterbrain in a draft with us, Steve. Good job, Scatterbrain.
Yeah, heck yeah. And I've been trying to get Tom in here for a couple weeks. I work with Tom, and he's a good dude, man. Happy to have you in here, Tom.
Let's go. Got a couple red shields. I found out that the red shields mean that they've either won over $2,500 on Underdog or have done more than 1,000 Underdog drafts.
Damn.
So Derek with the red and white shield, our very own Derek Richard. We're gonna have to get him on the stream one of these weeks to school us up in some Underdog best ball strategy.
Man. Looks like I'm up.
On the clock.
You know what? Got to put my money where my mouth is on this one here.
Nick Chubb, man, nice pick. We're just talking about it. I think it's a great value there. It's like right at ADP. Man, I don't think I've seen. Yeah, okay, this is pretty easy for me. I haven't seen CeeDee Lamb drop this far in any of my drafts yet. No auto pick yet for me, guys. Snag me some
keyword.
CeeDee Lamb.
Keyword.
Hey, and I know that the key is this year, this week. If you're looking at a guy that you're thinking about getting, go ahead and star him up just in case. And it's even more important once we get to rounds 4, 5, and 6, when the decisions become a little bit harder and that clock goes so quick, you know?
True. Yeah, no, it's especially if it's like a guy you had lined up, you were for sure you were going to get him. Maybe you were reaching on him and the guy before you grabs him up. And now you got 30 seconds to rethink your whole draft strategy. Not advisable. Even the most experienced drafters are going to get stymied with that one.
Yeah. It's tough. So let's see what Mr. Derek here does with the back-to-back picks at the second, third turn. He loves a zero RB strategy.
Smith.
He loves a zero RB strategy, Steve. He likes the late round running backs, and then what he does is he just backs the truck up. He'll draft like 5, 6, maybe 7 of them. Because the great thing is you can start 3 on any given week, and you don't have to worry about picking which ones to start. You just get the most amount of points for each position. That's the beautiful thing about Bestball, and that's why it's so much fun, and all the focus is on this draft right here. You can see SMW88 is having a little bit of challenge. He let the clock run all the way down to take Jacobs, and I think that's because DB's giving a little run for his money there.
Not gonna lie, that did screw me up. I was sitting on Jacobs there.
Oh, should I get Derrick Henry? The big dog? But I can't pass up on Derrick Henry with Breece Hall there. Ramondre's there too. Pretty high on Ramondre this year. I like all these picks, man. I think I'm gonna go another running back here.
Oh man. Let's see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm forgetting about that Week 17 matchup.
Hey, you know what? Let's go. I'm going to put a little faith in Old Faithful again here because I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest on long-term for Derrick Henry, but I've watched some of the off-season workouts, Andy, and yikes. He looks pretty solid.
He is the enigma, right? And I look at their Week 17 matchup here. It's at the Texans. So I think it's a divisional matchup in Houston. Probably not a top 15 run defense unless they really surprise a lot of people. So yeah, man, I think that's a very solid play. I could see Derrick Henry easily putting up a big game. I think he's got another good year left in him too, Steve. I think it's another good year. He just doesn't get involved much in the running game. And they could trade him before the trade deadline. Like, he's a perfect candidate to be traded if one of these teams lose their starting running back to an injury. I mean, he could end up on the Eagles, man.
My goodness.
You know, Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift can't stay healthy for a full season if their life depended on it. So, you know, I mean, there's a decent probability he could end up somewhere like that.
Yeah, no, that very viable, very viable. I mean, it's possible the Titans, you know, come limping out of the gate, then they just decide it's time to move on.
All right, so what do we got going here? Scatterbrain, Garrett Wilson. Ooh, Garrett Wilson at the 1.10 goes Mahomes, then Etienne, then Calvin Ridley. Interesting selections there. This is definitely an interesting draft for sure.
Damn it, light stick. All right.
DeAndre Hopkins. Wish he was traded. But by that point in the season, you do have Kyler Murray back. DeAndre Hopkins clearly hadn't lost a step. Looked at his targets per route run, his efficiency when he did get back on the scene last year was fantastic. The role is incredible. All right, I'm back on the clock. I do have 2 stud running backs, great wide receiver. I like the matchup. Amari Cooper, Kenneth Walker. Let's see. Also Christian Kirk there. Who were the Cleveland? Who are the Browns? I mean, I guess probably, I don't know. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker there.
That was close.
Yeah, I traded the who I had prioritized there at the last second because of, I don't know why I did that.
I actually wanted Amari Cooper there, but I already have Chubb. I just didn't want to stack. It's cool to stack QBs and receivers, but I didn't really want to stack a running back and receiver on the same team.
Sauce Gardner effect. That's why I did it. Sauce Gardner probably going to be put up against Amari Cooper in week 17. Probably shut him down. And the Seahawks are playing the Steelers at home. Oh yeah. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Nice pick there. Scary Terry.
So I'm gonna start thinking about some wide receivers. Me personally, I don't mind Keenan Allen. If I get him at value, I am definitely concerned about his fragility at this point. Obviously, I don't think Herbert's going to make it back to me, whereas there's a chance that Lawrence could. I definitely have got to, like, if I have a pick here between Keenan Allen and Kirk, with not being able to get Herbert and possibly being able to get Lawrence, plus the Jags playing the Panthers, it's close because I do like that Chargers-Broncos, but I'm going to go Kirk here. I'm going to go Kirk. I got him at a slight value. Who are you going for, Steve?
I'm going to go with another good faith guy that I'm always talking about here. I like me some Michael Pittman, and he's had a couple of pretty good years, nothing crazy yet, but again, look at the smorgasbord of just dying quarterbacks he's had throwing him the ball, and the offensive line was not necessarily doing them any favors. So I think if you're going to have faith in the new regime there, you got to have faith in the receiving game too.
Got to, man. Got to. The rookie they drafted, Josh Downs, is definitely interesting. I think the wide receiver room is a little ambiguous behind Michael Pittman, though. It's like he's the clear alpha on that squad. At this point, he's the leader, and then everybody else is playing.
I think Alec Pierce is like cemented into the slot, wouldn't you say?
I think that he's cemented in there for now, but I think things could change because you have a new coach. You have a new coach and you have a new quarterback, and I think that Steichen is going to do his best to build around. And we'll see. It'll be interesting to follow throughout training camp and listen to the reports and the usages in preseason for the Colts for sure. Just like the Panthers and the Texans, with their wide receiver rooms and them drafting Jonathan Mingo in Carolina and bringing in DJ Chark and Adam Thielen, like seeing how that's gonna shake out with Terrace Marshall already there and Laviska Shenault on the roster, and they brought in Hayden Hurst. So,
Jordan Addison.
All right, so I'm gonna start looking at. Who's out there. I definitely at this point with 3 stud RBs, 2 wide receiver 1A, 1Bs. All right, I gotta start up my Tampa boys here. Not opposed to JSN either. Dalvin Cook actually is a lock to be traded at this point. Goddard.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that maybe outside of Derek saw me come around recently, but I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting on Ayuk there, and that was a great. I think that's a great pick at the 6.5. Honestly,
I love the Ayuk pick. I've got the Bucks at this point against the Saints. Yeah, I think this is a smash pick for me. I'm getting them almost 10 picks past ADP. There's an outside chance that Mike Evans gets traded. Chris Godwin is basically the alpha wide receiver next to Mike Evans.
He's an absolute target hog, man.
Target hog, wide receiver screens, short slants, move him the slot, move him outside. I mean, you want, I think out of all the receivers, I definitely feel best with Chris Godwin, just where he's at. Plus, he's safe on the roster for the next few years. I mean, obviously, we're looking at Bestball and this season alone, but this matchup against the Saints, like when we play the Saints, it's always Marshawn Lattimore against Mike Evans and Chris Godwin doing a lot of work over the middle of the field and doing all those other type of routes. So, yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I'm still projecting for close to double-digit targets per game. And with our new offensive coordinator, he looks like he's going to definitely put our passing game not as much as Brady. Obviously, not going to be thrown as much as Brady. No chance about that. But I don't think it's going to be something like the Falcons where we're just. I like this Burks here just because of I don't even know who they're playing in Week 17. But by that point, it's the Texans. I like Burks because of his role, man. He's going to be the wide receiver 1. Like, this is Treylon Burks' opportunity to step up and shine. He's going to get the most targets on that offense. He's got the most athletic ability combined with the first-round draft capital, the age. I mean, this is his year. Whether it's Ryan Tannehill, Will Levis, this is Treylon Burks' opportunity to step up and seize a 20-25% target share, and whatever passing volume they have, a lot of it should go to him or Chig. I like Chig too, and Westbrook Akeen's not bad. He's very similar to Burks, but this is Burks' time to shine this year, man. I'm expecting him to have a breakout season actually. That was not an auto pick for the record. I had him start up, Derek. Man, Filthy loves him a good tight end. He loves him a good sleeper tight end. Chigazium Okonkwo. He's the real deal, man. He says startup. Wait, Laystick says startup doesn't count. That's 2. Well, I think I've picked guys start up for since round 2 or 3.
I think it doesn't count as long as you meant for that to happen.
Hey, if I'm getting, even if he's on a bad offense with a potentially bad quarterback, still the wide receiver 1 with a 25% target share with athletic ability, was a yak monster in college, and we saw flashes of it in 2 games last season. This is his time to shine, man. This is Treylon Burks' year. This is his coming out party in year 2. He can breathe. You already saw the tweet the other day. He's having such a better time this offseason because he can actually breathe. I mean, this is Treylon Burks' season, man. Wheels up, baby. Scatterbrain says third worst picks. Going Curtis Samuel at 87 and Juju, Pacheco, Michael Thomas at 58. Yeah, we're gonna have to grade your draft after this, Scatterbrain. I think you're letting the pressure get to you a little bit, man, because you're drafting against the Red Shields. You got an advantage over me, though, as a streamer. All right, let's see what we got. We got 4, 3, missed out. I could get Dak here. Could get Dak at pick. Let's go ahead and star him up. Not opposed. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and star a couple people up. I think ultimately I'm going to let it pick Dak. See, that's why I star people up. If I didn't pick Dak, I would end up with Rashad White. I didn't really want to stack Godwin and White because I have no plans on, which I guess I could draft Baker much later, but feels kind of icky.
Everyone grabbed all my players. Man, I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
I found a loophole. Lasik said I found a loophole starring guys up. All right. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, sir. This is where things get interesting, where decisions start getting, where you can start reaching a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and start Evan Ingram up because that Week 17 matchup. Yeah, I did go Amari earlier, but here, this is the perfect round when I want to start taking my tight ends. You know, David Njoku's got one of the biggest tight end contracts in the league, super athletic. All right. Man, I'm so tempted, though. So I only have 3 running backs. I am going to need more. I love this pick here, and he slid. Yeah, I gotta do it. Bink. Want to go tight end, but sometimes when there's just too much value out there on the board, and you guys will be finding out a lot more about James Cook, but man, that is some great value there at pick 101. Just on what he's walking into in 2023. Plus that Week 17 matchup for the Bills, the Patriots at the Bills, and that's when we start talking about those winter games, you know, in Buffalo. I think we had a few snow games last year, snowball fights, the whole 9 yards, man.
How you feeling about your squad so far, Andy?
What happened?
I said, how you feeling about your squad so far?
So far, so good, man. So far, so good. I would like to get a little bit better quarterback, but I don't know. I'm not as high on Dak as I used to be. I'm not crazy about the coaching there and Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore, but you know, we got to stack them up with CeeDee Lamb, and I think there's a pretty solid potential for Dak. He's gonna have some big games. He's definitely gonna have a couple 40-point fantasy games. Could be Week 17. I like the matchup there, and it makes so much sense. That Lions of the Cowboys Week 17. You got to stack them. That's a shootout, man. You know what I'm saying? That's 2 offenses that are going to push the ball. That's a shootout. That's a shootout if I ever seen a shootout on paper. So I'm going to go ahead and take that stack. That's the type of game where Dak could throw 4 touchdowns to CeeDee Lamb, and all of a sudden I'm looking at $3 million in my lap. And I'm going to buy you a card, you a card, you a card, you a card.
National Treasures Hobby Box giveaway official.
Yeah. And former Bestball Mania 4 winner, now broke after buying all of his subscribers a box of National Treasures.
It would be your most watched video for sure, though. At least.
Yeah.
At least.
I get to be like the Oprah of sports cards for a day.
Like the Mr. Beast of the sports card hobby.
Yeah. There you go.
There's some interesting
Just
views
definitely got to have new scissors.
All right, you know what, Andy? Who's my guy?
What we doing here?
Let's go.
Don't scoff at Goff. He gets them. Pick 115. Who'd you stack him with? Jameson?
Yep. I had Goff and Amon-Ra on probably 90% of my sheets last year, but with him going in the first round that early, there's just no way I can do that again this year. There's a lot of guys I comboed last year that I won't be able to pair up again this year, so I'm going to have to, doing these drafts every week is going to provide the insight to maybe how I can put better sheets together come closer to draft time.
My wide receivers aren't as robust as I think they could be with CeeDee Lamb, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, and Treylon Burks. But dang, I'm loving this wide receiver group I got put together with Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, and now Devin Achane for the Miami Dolphins at pick 116, 6 picks past ADP. I can't say no. Like I kind of got to build my team as like this robust RB, and now I'm going to focus. I got to focus heavy at this point. Steve, I think this is the point of the draft where you really got to start drafting like needs based on like, because you look at what Derek has done. Derek got one running back on the sheet, and he's probably wanted Devin Achane. He was probably hoping that Devin Achane was going to fall to me right there. And this is why he goes RB heavy. And I think that's smart. Just like in cards and fantasy, you want to zig when other people are zagging. They're giving him the opportunity of drafting Devonta Smith, T. Higgins back-to-back because he's running back picks. And then once again, T-Hawk, Terry McLaurin, Tony, Marquise Brown, just hammering the wide receiver value, those spike games, that week 17 matchup correlation. And he's still hammering them. And he's going to rely on those guys to put up mega points when push comes to shove. However, I'm going to rely more on the running backs. He's giving me an opportunity, a gift at pick 5 for these running backs. Now, your guy Francis here has gone very balanced. Look at that.
Hey, Cole Kmet. Love it.
CMC.
Love it.
Cole Kmet. Look at that, man.
A little tight end run going on.
Little tight end. I might want to hop on that train, huh? Jacoby Myers now in. Oh, boy. Shoot. This is not good. I think I'm going to take Nico Collins. I took Nico Collins. I had to start somebody up. Out of that group, I feel the most comfortable with his role. I just don't think there's going to be enough passing volume for Jacoby Myers to eat at 117. I think Jacoby's good, except for a couple of that bonehead lateral play that he made for the Patriots last season. Jacoby was good, but the thing is now he steps into an offense with a lackluster passing attack in Jimmy Garoppolo and is going to be contending against Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow for targets. So it's like, not so high on Jacoby Myers anymore. I think Collins can still step up in an ambiguous wide receiver room on the outside, particularly now with no Brandon Cooks there, and have a pretty healthy target share with CJ Stroud, hopefully build that chemistry. A little bit of a reach, but at this point I'm really just drafting needs based,
I don't think his role drops off that much over there. I think that they're more of a scheme-oriented offense versus just like, what they were used to the year before. So I think he'll still have like a respectable role, even with Devontae commanding most of the targets. But plus, if you're getting him at this juncture of the draft, like you're just hoping for a couple spike weeks anyway.
There's so much late quarterback talent late in the draft in these single quarterback formats. Like, I don't know why you draft Jordan Love this early, this B Tucker 1, 2, 3, 4 pick. Why he draft Jordan Love here at the 134? He really wanted to make sure he got him, huh? Why? Where's the correlation? Where
he just didn't want him to come back to me. That's what.
No correlation. No stack there with Jordan Love.
Maybe he's big on the hype. Maybe he thinks that he's the next guy. I don't know.
He's a Red Shield drafter. I gotta think he's thinking week 17 here. The Packers at the Vikings. Okay. So I guess he's going to week 17 shootout, Packers, Vikings. He's already got Justin Fields in the third, so he's looking for a contingency week 17 plan. Okay. He's probably going to add some variation of Romeo Dobbs or what's his name? Who's that guy that they drafted? His name is slipping my mind right now.
The receiver that Green Bay drafted?
Mm-hmm. I forgot.
Jaden Reed? Talk about this year?
That sounds right.
Tom would know. Tom, where you at? I'm pretty sure it's the Jaden Reed guy.
I go here, just type in Packers. Yeah, Jaden Reed, that's who he's going for. 168 ADP. Just signed his rookie contract probably, or maybe not yet, but I think he is expected to be more of a slot receiver. I think they got a pretty decent void to fill there. Yeah, Jaden Reed. They actually drafted him halfway through the second round out of Michigan State. Pretty young breakout age, 18.4, 5'11", 191, runs a 4.45. Best comparable to Stephon Diggs. Had a pretty decent target share in Michigan State. All right, got to look at that tight end. Oh yeah, got a lot of value there still. Definitely digging this. Well, let's go, baby. Let's go. I love the tight end value this year, man. Late.
There's definitely a lot more choices than in previous years. Ooh, Gallup's off the board.
Yeah. I think but with Brandon Cooks now coming in with CeeDee Lambs, it's like, where does Gallup really fit in? I think he takes a wide receiver 3 role. Now all of a sudden it's like, I don't like him as much. Not as much as like if I can get DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones here. In some games last year, Donovan Peoples-Jones was a wide receiver 1 when Amari Cooper couldn't get his act together. So if I go and look at a week 17, Browns at the Jets with Sauce Gardner on Amari Cooper, all of a sudden I'm looking at DPJ or maybe Elijah Moore, but DPJ's got that 99 percentile burst, and that guy is good at the point of catch, man. So I'm looking at DPJ, putting up a big game there. I'm down with adding that.
We got one of our guys, Van Jefferson, off the board. If his knees stay healthy, this is going to be presumably a big year.
They got to throw to somebody, right?
Cup can't get 18 targets a game without it turning into a turnover fest. So
Reed's Swamp Donkey Off Grid said Reed's a speed burner. Derek said they drafted him way too high.
let's see who Kettner takes with the sandwich pick.
Rick trying to give us, dude. I thought the NBA Finals were over already earlier in the week on the live stream. So
I heard that and I was like, nah.
Goes to show you what I know, what I follow about that. I'm diehard, man. It's diehard football.
Algier off the board. You know, I think I like Algier more than most people. I think that people just think he's going to vanish. I don't think that's the case.
Then I found out the finals weren't over, Steve, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome because
two whole rounds left, buddy.
Yeah, so many people are still watching the NBA playoffs and finals and not perusing eBay for football cards. They're probably looking at basketball cards and doing a lot of wheeling and dealing there between that and MLB, right? And
yeah, start of the baseball season here.
Yeah. I'm here doing best ball drafts and hunting for those undervalued players like Donovan Peoples-Jones in the 13th, baby.
You son of a... Oh, man, I don't even know who I'm going to take now.
You were about to do the Chark Bryce Young stack and late six.
I have three Panthers, damn it.
After going Josh Allen. Well, he had to stack him. Who did he stack him with? No, he just totally sniped you, bro.
Fuck.
Nice. Let's go, Rick. CJ Stroud. Oh, man, you're going to force me to draft Baker Mayfield in the final round now, aren't you, Steve? That's okay. Because I'm going to get Sam Laporta, baby. 165. Taking him right on the dot of his ADP. Boom.
Yeah, I had him queued up as a second guy, but wasn't that high of a priority having Kelsey. If I had like a lesser tight end, I would maybe have gotten him up. But I just got thrown for a loop there. I was going to take what's his name, Young, and then take Hurst as my backup, but I got boomeranged on there.
Got the Cowboys matchup against the Lions in Week 17. Laporta as a rookie tight end, early second-round draft pick. 2.03, right after Kincaid. Goes to the Bills. Big-time college dominator score from Iowa.
Tank.
Yeah, he's gonna step in as a tight end one. Tank Bigsby Carter keeps every week. I feel like Carter talks about Tank Bigsby and not sleeping on Tank Bigsby. Not really a whole lot to get into him right now with him as a rookie, but I mean he's gonna get probably a 15% carry share in a high octane offense with a lot of scoring opportunities, and never know what could potentially happen to ETN. So getting him this late, the guy coming out with a lot of juice from Auburn, got a nice receiving profile as well. 6 foot 210. Oh, I got a draft. I got a pick. Yeah, I'm going to go back to back here. I don't know what pick this is. I'm going to go back to back tight ends. I'm going to go Mayer. I'm going to leave it and go Mayer. Get the number 3 tight end out of the draft. A lot of people are in, a heated debate between Kincaid, Mayer, and Laporta, and the landing spots in the draft capital. Derek thinks that Kincaid is a leap ahead of Mayer and Laporta, but I like the pro-ready upside that Mayer brings to the table. He's like a Zach Ertz plus, stepping right in to a team that is devoid of tight end talent, and you've got Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback. That's just like a recipe for getting targets.
I think,
and the guy's a beast.
They're considering throwing him in as a slot receiver. You have Kincaid and Laporta, at least from an offensive perspective, fantasy perspective, have the, I think, highest probability of jumping off the page right away versus like a more traditional tight end who, takes time to develop blocking schemes, etc.
I get that. I think they're going to with them getting rid of Darren Waller and Foster Moreau. I feel like Mayer walks in as a receiving option for a quarterback that is totally immobile and doesn't always process the defense as quick as you would want him to. So, I mean, if he's not going to Devontae Adams, you're right. We talked about Jacoby Myers and Hunter Renfrow there, but I mean, all of a sudden, it's like Michael Mayer kind of stuff. There is some target competition looking at their new tight end depth chart. They added Austin Hooper and OJ Howard. But Mayer's got the youth, the college profile. He's got the draft capital. Although OJ Howard is a former first round pick by the Bucks.
He's shown flashes of greatness. Not necessarily an assurance that he shows anything ever again, but doesn't mean he won't necessarily either.
Yeah, a long time ago, man. Long time ago. What are we doing here?
What do I really need here? All right, let's do this.
Yeah, Rick, it does kind of look like Borat, but without the beard. All right, let me make my pick here real quick, Captain Joe King. And let's see. I got to make my pick here. Yeah. I think I need, not sure what I don't really feel the need to get more than 5 running backs with the running backs that I have. Whereas my wide receivers are not as star-studded. It's more, it's solid. Honestly, actually, you know what? How many picks do we have left? Yeah, okay. I'm going to go tight end and
Darnold
quarterback here.
Now we're talking. That's what I like to see there, man. That's
Francis going Darnold.
That is a type of pick that, could just be a waste pick, but could be a league winner, especially with the reports that we've gotten out of them so far. So I like that, man.
Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson for Derek, and then he's been backing the truck up with these late round running backs: Zach Evans, Jerome Ford, Tank Bigsby, Deonta Foreman, bunch of platoon guys, couple rooks, platoon guy up in Chicago. Let's see. Captain Joe King said, loving the stream. Appreciate that, sir. Make sure you hit that like button, share with a friend. Would you rather have Justin Jefferson, Nick Chubb, or CMC Garrett Wilson? Am I wrong to think Garrett is going to be a top 3 wide receiver? Well, I'm back up on the clock. I guess we go ahead and what do we got here for tight end? We could do McBride. I got Baker, so we'll do the Baker is my secondary quarterback, Steve. Which, shoot, I probably actually thinking about this, might not a bad idea to go with a third. And I kind of wanted a little bit more tight end depth though. The guys I got, probably like a Trey McBride, or maybe a Hunter Henry.
I love watching the last. One thing to keep in mind if you're watching this or if you're in this draft, pay close attention to the last 2 rounds, specifically the last few picks. You'll start to get an idea of who people are valuing high that maybe in some of your leagues have been going undrafted. Just puts a little marker on a guy that maybe somebody knows something about that maybe you haven't read any news about them yet, and maybe you should be.
Like Latavius Murray. No way. No, but I could get on board with some old Marvin Jones. I love the Deuce Vaughn pick by you there. Yeah, that's a home run, late round running back pick who's going to get some work. Love the Kenneth Gainwell pick too by Squashy. Love that one.
I like Scatterbrain with I even like the Marvin Jones pick, honestly. He's filling a massive void, especially early in the season, Andy, where Jameson Williams is going to miss the first 6 games.
Yeah. I like the 17th round Hayden Hurst. I like this Mecole Hardman pick too. I mean, that's a home run upside, super late wide receiver pick with the Jets, especially that Week 17 matchup, man. That Week 17 matchup with the Jets at the Browns. That could be juicy. Mecole Hardman could easily break off a couple big touchdowns. I'm torn here between going. I had a guy start up. I'm going to go back to your question in just a second, Captain Joe King. I got it start up. I'm going to move it. Just saw the draft board popping on the screen here. Mike Gesicki for Steve late. Chuba Hubbard late for late stick. What do we have here? Cute quarterbacks. Mac Jones. Man.
Ferguson would have been a nice grab for you, Andy, having Dak.
As a tight end.
Get you a Kate Otten. I don't know how many tight ends you have.
Nah. I'm gonna go with Trey McBride there. I mean, he's a proven tight end asset. What happened?
I said I'm a huge Trey McBride guy. It's a great pick.
Yeah. It's only 2 quarterbacks, so I'm putting quite a bit of faith here in Dak and Baker. I feel like that's definitely obviously that and tight end, I think, is probably my weakest positional category. But I may be able to make up for that in the fact you only have to start 1 tight end per week. And, outside of like Kelsey mostly and some Andrews and Kittles and just a couple other guys that randomly have these spike weeks that, I can get by on the guys that I got with they've got upside, and then the quarterback and then the running backs I got are all studs and the wide receivers. So
all right. It's not
yeah,
I saw. Who'd you take, Derek? Brad, I saw that today, man. 2 years.
Yeah, man, I saw that as well.
Love it.
Pick it done by week 4. Get ready. Well, if they don't at least win a few of these games out of the gate here, we could be seeing that, but I highly doubt it, man. I highly doubt it, which is great for your Mitch Trubisky PC. You guys that are Mitch Trubisky truthers, you can freely load up and just.
Or if you're like me and
stockpile.
you just like the guy and like collecting his stuff, I'm just rooting for him, man. Card value or not, I'm rooting for the guy.
Drafts completed.
Is he a Banaconda? What team?
Bestball Manias. Here we go. View full draft. Let's view the projections here. Let's go view full draft. How do you wait? I gotta go back. Drafts completed. Bestball Mania 4. This is the one we just did. So I guess okay. So it's showing the
I got
projected here.
Rookie for the Jets.
I should name these 12-person draft. So I'll do 05, 18, 23 stream. I don't know if that's really.
I think you got to click the save thing at the top. Oh, you didn't click save.
Dang it. Oh 05, 18, 23 stream.
It's at the top on the right.
Where is it at the top? Oh, it's right in that box. Got it.
There you
Duh.
go. Damn.
2730, 2802, the Red Shield Derek. Let's see his
Cousins.
ragtag group. Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. One that could
And
How
that's
they work out?
That is a stacked receiving core, my friend.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's still, and the thing is, he's still got 8 receivers. So I definitely want to look
Jefferson
at that.
and Hawkinson
Mm-hmm.
on the same team.
And Cousins. He's got the Vikings stack locked down, man.
I like it, man. Nice job, Derek. Let's check out. Let's check out my buddy Tom. How did Tom do? It's his first best ball draft.
27-45.
Very first best ball draft.
Well, I'd say he's got quarterback covered. Lamar, AR, Kyler, and Darnold.
Two guaranteed starters and then a couple of Hail Marys there. Running backs look solid.
Yep, running backs looks very solid. Very solid. Good value on Dalvin Cook, who is going to be traded. Where he ends up is yet to be
The
known.
interesting thing about Jamal Williams is I think even if Kamara doesn't get suspended, I think he still has great value. But Kamara could get suspended and he could end up being like the workhorse there.
This is what's going to end up hurting Tom here is wide receivers, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe just not enough volume.
Well, yeah, because and think about it, any given week you've got to start at least 2, could start 3, but there may be weeks where you have very few points from your wide receivers because you only got the 5 of them, and the only ones that have really good roles here are Deebo Samuel. The rest of them are 2s and 3s on their team.
I would say, just from my experience, like you could probably shave one of the tight ends and shave one of the QBs and put those guys into the receiver spot just to give you a couple more entries in the top 3 receiver sweepstakes, if you will. Derek's saying one more draft.
Rum Rain.
I'll do whatever, man. I'll do whatever.
We're almost at 2 hours here. I would like to do one more. We'll do another. Late Stick will do another. I will do another. We'll sign off on the stream, but I'll hop into Discord. We can stream it right through the Discord.
You want to start it so we can get everyone in at the same time?
Well, we'll just end this stream, and then we'll hop in the Discord if you want to do one more. The stream's already getting at to 2 hours, so we'll end
I'm
this
just saying
stream.
coordinate it, do the countdown, and then
I'll do the countdown in the Discord. I'll be live in the Discord.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. When you go on the Discord, you just click on the. You'll see me streaming in there, and I'll just click on that because this is already at 2 hours. We'll do a
get
private
Tom
one.
in there with us. Then he's not going to see the Discord.
Oh, he's not in Discord.
Not yet.
There's
a
quick
countdown now, and then we'll sign off with the chat here.
Let's roll. Okay, I'll go ahead and get one. I see what you're saying. Let's go ahead and get another one rolling then. Another 12-man league. Rip it on here. Let's go, Andy. Just wants to do it. All right, why not? Let's go. You guys ready? I'm making it all confusing. You ready?
You say when.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Enter. Ooh.
Oh, shit.
This one filled up quick, bro.
That one filled up quick. There's one spot left, though.
Hey, I'm blaming this one on you guys if it goes sideways. Yeah. Y'all are in your own draft. Well, Scaladesi's in here. Maybe we're on a little bit of delay with the stream. I'm gonna have to run 2 drafts. What happened?
Somehow you and I only ended up in it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you guys should have gone with my idea. Mm-hmm.
You know what? We should next week set up a time coordinated one to occur during the stream. Mm-hmm.
A time coordinated one to occur during the stream. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that.
Can't you fill your own I don't know how to explain it. You could fill your own draft, basically.
Yes, I can do $5, $10, 12 person. I could create a private draft. The draft starts though when the league's full. So they're a little tricky. What you got to do is fill 10 people or 11 people, and then when the draft starts, you just find one person from the chat and get them to hop in it. When they hop in, the draft starts. You can't just decide I want my draft to start at 9:30 p.m. or whatever the case is. All right, so
your pick is up.
My pick is up already? Where's the draft even at? Drafts. Oh, I'm going to get auto-picked on the first round? I got auto-picked in the first round. Who did I get? Tyreek Hill.
Not bad.
Who did I pass up on? Yeah, okay. I think that's the first Tyreek Hill pick I have. Dude, I have not gotten any early picks. I think the 5 is the earliest pick I've gotten, actually. So I have no exposure to Tyreek Hill yet. I haven't got any 1.1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. I think the 5th is the earliest pick I've gotten.
Derek's roasting you. Tom, you still there? Did you get in another draft?
Let's see. Dolphins at Ravens. Dolphins at Ravens. Oh, yeah, man. Everybody remembers that bloodbath from last year. Auto pick right out of the gate. My word.
We had to be picking right next to each other again.
Oh wow, that's funny. And you're right behind me again. Like right after me, you know? That's too funny. You're right before me I get on the snake. See, this is what happens, guys. Look, Steve, his camera pooped out. We should all join an 8-hour draft at some point. No stream. Yeah, no, that's a good. We could just get a slow draft. I've actually got like 4 puppy slow drafts going right now. Hey, Steve, welcome back.
Hey, next draft is still
wow.
not filled. Wow, no kidding.
So we could have just waited a few minutes for that one. That one would have taken a while. It's all good. We get another one in here, grease the groove, build a little bit of that muscle memory. I was just telling Derek in the stream that I've got 4 slow drafts going right now.
I've only done 1 or 2 last year, and I like and hate them at the same time. Andy, would I be out of my mind to, if he falls to me, take Mahomes if I have Kelsey?
No, man. I do it every time. I've gotten him once, so but I've done it. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever taken Mahomes in Bestball, so why not?
It makes too much sense to me. I guess it's my pick. Whoops. Shoot. Come on. Drafts. Active.
I'll take it.
On the clock.
What's not to like? I'm not the
again.
hugest fan, but I like winning.
Oh, man. Yes, I'm going Jalen Hurts here.
Boom.
Start him up at the last second. Guess I could have got Jonathan Taylor, too. He slid. Wow, he slid quite a bit. He slid a lot. I should have just taken him. Yeah, TJ Chip said I'm not going to pass on.
You won't be able to get A.J. Brown, but there's still hope for more Eagles out there.
Yeah, A.J. Brown, first round. Maybe Devonta Smith. That's kind of wishful thinking, though, probably. This draft is...
I was
starting off weird.
I was all in on taking Chubb yet again, but, man, Mahomes-Kelsey combo, that's hard to resist.
I tried to do too much there. I was going to start a slow private draft and send out a link for that because we can start that whenever. He'll just start when it fills.
But those aren't those aren't eligible for like the big prizes, right?
No, it'll be a private one. So it'll be, we do $5 or $10 and then
I see.
They take a small rake. I'd have to go. You'd have to go look at the price structure. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think, for example, the $5 one, I think first place is like $40.
Oh, he got taken a pick before you, man.
Yeah, snipers. He probably already had fallen a few picks. It's all good. I go Josh Jacobs here. Contract situations with Jacobs. He better get his ass to practice. It's another contract year for you, Bubba.
I was definitely going there.
What's up, Ryan? Raiders at Colts. Yeah, I want me some Jacobs in that matchup, but better get his butt to practice, man. BBM 4 slow draft. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess if you're as good as Jacobs and you got that experience, then yeah, just get that rest. Probably generally speaking, but if you're Leonard Fournette, you need practice. Unless you're just dust at this point.
Practice avoiding the buffet line.
Self-restraint.
Conditioning matters. We now know that. They did a really good job of downplaying the severity of his weight gain, but clearly was a thing.
Do it. How do you start your draft here? Okay, Kelsey, Mahomes, ETN. Dig it. Got a couple black and white shields here. Who sniped this Devonta from me? This TJ Chip? I'm going to have to snipe somebody from him.
Yeah, right before you, and then I knew you'd grab Jacobs. I can't even blame you for taking him out. That's where I was going next.
I'm going to have to anticipate who he's going to draft and snipe him for the rest of the draft. Tell me that's not vindictive.
Forget winning. We're just going to
forget winning. They end up with some random roster. No correlation. No stack. So yeah, this second best ball draft on Underdog Fantasy. It's what I do for the good members of the community. I do have to be on another stream actually tomorrow morning with Paul Hickey, Sports Card Strategy, 8 a.m. Eastern, sharp, live.
Nice.
Haven't talked to him since before the draft, so it'll be fun to catch up with him. And he's really good at getting right down to the point. Probably go through some rankings, and he always likes to run me through the gauntlet and stuff. Looking forward to that stream in the morning. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't, but tonight I probably will, man. I didn't sleep very good last night. I actually took a little nap before this stream started. When I put my kids to bed, I fell asleep in my daughter's bed.
I'm actually surprised, Andy. I don't know where you stand on this, but the Jackson Smith and the Jigba draft position, I'm not doubting his skill level, but he's getting taken, some really heavy hitters taken in the same conversation as him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the oh crap, dude. Yeah. This is just totally
Joseph. Oh, but you had a QB already. Joseph Burrow. Hey, if anything happens to Hurts now, you're going to look like Rain Man in this thing.
That was just egregious.
So since you got a minute till your next pick, Andy, why don't you let everyone know how for Tom, for example, how we only drafted 4 or 5 receivers. Maybe explain why you should take more at that position specifically.
Because especially if you're getting later round wide receivers, the scoring is going to be inconsistent. And with you automatically getting the most amount of points per position, you just want more dart throws, more potential 40-point fantasy games. And with wide receiver being a volatile position, there's a lot of guys that are 1-week wonders, 2-week wonders, and you're just looking to get those couple weeks out of them. And it's easier to get 40 points out of a wide receiver in a 1-week wonder type of scenario than it is a running back or a tight end. And this is not super flex, so you really don't need more than 2 quarterbacks unless you're picking really late round quarterbacks.
And then as far as like each position, you know, you're going to get the 1 QB, 2 running backs, the tight end, and then 3 receivers, right?
On your starting roster?
Right.
Yeah. You trying to distract me again while it's my pick?
I was going to tell you it was your turn. At least if you get an auto pick this early, it's not a complete fail.
I'm trying to diversify here a little bit. Man, D-Hop has slid so much. I guess by this point late in the season, I guess I'll go ahead and go D-Hop. So yeah, if you look at the roster construction, Steve, it is it's half point PPR. So you do prioritize touchdowns a little bit.
3 receiver, 1 flex.
But you see how you start 3 wide receivers plus a flex. So any given week, you got to start at least 3 wide receivers, but you could potentially start 4. And you can only start 2 running back, 1 QB, 1 tight end. So the law of positional scarcity says you need the most wide receivers on your roster.
Okay. So, yeah, the flex is going to be, you know, either a running back, receiver, or tight end, hypothetically.
Yeah, and I think you just have a higher chance late round of getting 40 points from a wide receiver than you do a running back who, to get that many points, is a lot of cases reliant on the starting running back getting injured, you know, or maybe there's a late season rookie breakout from a running back, whereas a wide receiver, a lot of times those guys can be used interchangeably just based on the way the defense is scheming and the way they're covering, you know. So that's why it theoretically makes sense to have like Joe Burrow double and triple stacks. Like you could do in best ball format, because you don't have to make a decision on, do I start Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, or Tyler Boyd this week? You just have them all 3 available, and whoever goes off, because you know one of them is going to go off every week, potentially 2 of them go off on a given week, you're going to get the max amount of points every single week. That's why in a best ball format, stacking makes so much sense, and then planning for that week 17 matchup when you're playing against a bigger pool, and then also having more of those dart throws, just spike week guys on your wide receiver depth chart.
Oh, that's good. I forgot honestly about the flex component.
Yeah, when you get to the super flex one, it is definitely a different dynamic, because I think they reduce. I can't remember if it's still 3 wide receivers or if they reduce it to 2 wide receivers in a flex. Then all of a sudden, you don't need nearly as many wide receivers. You need now you're talking 3-4 quarterbacks when you can start potentially 2 any given week. Definitely want to fill a quarterback in that super flex spot because of how easy it is for them to put up 40 points.
Right. Or even a consistent 20-some, right? Versus
yeah, or even realistically a consistent 25, 30 points.
The positional player would need to have an exceptional game to do that as well.
Yeah, so super flex is a totally different animal, because they shaved that 3rd wide receiver and turned it into a super flex. All right, back on the clock here. Pick 68. I'm gonna go Swift. Jalen Hurts.
Let's see who
Oh,
teacher
that's
takes.
one heck of a weird roster I'm building. That's for dang sure. I got my pick in, man. I'm not gonna overthink it.
Derek, what's the prerequisite for the white shield? Is it 500? I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's 500 drafts. Yeah, it is 500 drafts.
Damn.
Which I'm hoping to get one this off season. I'm hoping. I'm gonna try. When they come out with the Superflex puppy, which is probably next, or maybe another puppy, I'm gonna hammer that sucker. I'm gonna hammer that sucker hard, man.
500. Yeah, you got it. When they do the $5 puppies, you got to hope to do like 50 of them. Just because at the price point it makes sense. Like doing 50 of these is gonna run you a couple bucks. Yeah.
Derek said 500 drafts means about 1,500 auto picks.
Wow.
That's a lot of auto picks, bro.
One of these days, one of those auto picks is going to win him some money, and he's going to rub it in your face.
I need to set a reminder for myself right now that I have a live stream in the morning. I'll forget all about it. All right. Back on the clock. What do we got here? Gabe Davis? I do like me some Rashad White. I'm not gonna. Let's roll with the best player out here. Then go ahead and get Dalvin Cook. Almost 10 picks, passes ADP. Let's see where he lands, man. So I think that it's pretty much a given that he's going to be traded because the Minnesota Vikings updated their social media banner. I think it was like Twitter, and they took Dalvin Cook off of it and put Alexander Madison on it. So, I mean, it's going to happen here pretty soon. Dalvin Cook's being traded somewhere, or they're gonna release him or something. I don't know. He's gone though, man. Dalvin Cook he's a goner. I don't know where he's going to go, but he's obviously going to step into a spot where he's getting opportunity. He's not that old yet.
Yeah, I think they have to wait. If they don't find a trade partner, they have to wait for June 1st to release him.
Scatterbrain said my roster looks like a 5-year-old did it. That's hilarious. Yo, what's up, Hector? Just joined. Nice. Yeah. The one good thing about the Cook trade, Alexander Madison time, wheels up, baby. I mean, Dalvin Cook was projected for like a 50% opportunity share. So that's going to be Madison's. And then, behind him, they did draft a rookie. You also have Kine Nwagnu, but they drafted another guy who's really, really fast. And I'm going to go pull him up now. It's an interesting sleeper to keep your eye on. Who is that? Yeah. Ty Chandler. So Ty Chandler, I think, is going to step into the secondary role. He's from last year. 5th round pick from last year, but the guy runs a 4.38 with a 93rd percentile speed score. 5'11 at 5'11, 204. So he's going to get some looks. He's interesting sleeper to potentially go and pick up maybe a rookie ticket auto or something. Just because, I mean, it was going to be somewhat of a split backfield with Cook and Madison, and they're probably going to have a little bit of a committee approach here. So Now what do? Dotson, Quinn. Go with the Chargers, the rookie here from the Chargers. Let's go with Quentin Johnson. I think that Week 17 matchup, if I remember correctly, Chargers at Broncos. Yeah. Put Patrick Surtain on Mike Williams. Keenan Allen pulls a hamstring. And Quentin Johnson goes off against the Broncos.
The guy had one injury season, and we're marking him as injury prone already.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost as old as you, Steve.
The man can ball.
No, he can, and he's still getting the ADP, close to third, fourth round. So, I mean, hey, I got him on a dynasty team. He's like a win now guy for dynasty because he's 31. But I mean, he missed a half the season last year. That was one of the worst hamstrings ever, man.
It looks like they played it right. I mean, usually those hamstrings will hinder you all year, but he came back and didn't have to, limit his snaps or miss a couple games after he came back too quick. Or I'll tell you what, last year I lost a lot of potential money when the Chargers choked to the Jaguars. I had a Bestball team that had Herbert, Eckler, and all the receivers from the Chargers on it. If they would have advanced, it would have been some big money. And if they would have advanced one more time beyond that, that would have been juicy. But that's probably one of the all-time chokes in playoff football.
Crazy, man.
Oof. I don't like any of these guys. What am I going to take here? You know what? Screw it. Let's go.
Juju Smith-Schuster. Playing the Bills. Yeah. It makes sense, man. It's actually
he's only got to be good every couple weeks.
Especially in week 17. Division rival, Bills. I like that.
Gino is off the board.
Yeah, I think Ty Chandler's. I don't even know if Ty Chandler's got any. Let's see if Ty Chandler's got any rookie ticket autos. It would have to be rookie ticket autos. No, yeah, man, they printed them up. I think this guy's
we got
worth a couple flyers.
Carter, the Power. What's up, Carter? How you doing, bud?
The best drafter is now here. I think Carter's putting in some best ball reps this year.
We got to try to get him in with us one of these here. We'll see how many LSU guys he takes. He'll be jealous at your QB lineup today, Andy.
Yeah, he always chokes when he gets in a draft with us. The pressure gets too high, and he ends up choking. I'm liking these prices that I'm seeing on these Ty Chandler. I actually am impressed with the amount of variety available
there
to
you
him.
go.
Ooh,
there's a nice cracked ice for you.
Cracked ice out of 22. I really do think that he's worth taking a couple flyers on with his speed. He's definitely going to be pushed up in that depth chart. I mean, look at a lot of these offenses today, man. If you got that kind of speed, all of a sudden you get that opportunity. But Dalvin's out of there. Chad's going to confirm, our resident Minnesota Vikings super fan and
They
collector.
drafted a running back, Andy. I think that guy's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay. He's okay. I'm 4 picks away here.
Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? These are the make or break rounds.
My whole thing is, so with Dwayne McBride, and the reason why I think it's going to be Ty Chandler that gets a much better workload is Dwayne McBride, 7th round pick. Pretty good, but at a UAB. And what is UAB? What school is that? What kind of defense do they play against? Yeah, he had a big senior season, big 2021. I didn't even have like metrics on this guy, really. Not a whole lot of metrics. Yeah, just watch the film, study him a little bit. But 4.38 speed, brother. That's what I'm looking at. Just go ahead and take Elijah Moore there.
I think
back up that truck.
If you're big on Deshaun Watson, which I know you are this year, then you got to be big on Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I think he fits in as a perfect best ball candidate. And we don't know what the chemistry is going to be like between him and Watson, but I mean, if you look at that Week 17 matchup, I mean, it's a great matchup. Jets at Browns, you know.
Ooh, we got to say Jones off the board. I think
Jets
the
at
Dalvin
Browns. Think about that.
Thing's interesting.
You know what? I just realized that's a revenge narrative. The Browns in Week 17 against the Jets, that's a revenge game for Elijah Moore, who clearly had beef.
You knew that, though.
With the coaching staff. Elijah Moore's going off in Week 17. I just found your late round wide receiver sleeper that you want to hammer right there in every draft. Revenge game, Week 17 in Cleveland for Elijah Moore. It's going to be a shootout against Rodgers. Yeah, it's going to be a slugfest. I bet you Elijah Moore goes off. I love the Night Owls, man. Look at you Night Owls, man. Carter, Chad. Chad's in Utah. Cheers, man. Tom Bullard. All right. What are we looking at here? I do have Kincaid start up.
I dig it.
Yeah, man. Kincaid start up. I also do. I have no correlation really with went ahead and got him at 125. That's 10 picks past his ADP. I know Boyd was not gonna fall. Don't scoff at Goff. Look at that. Look at you, man. Another Jared Goff
again, baby.
Scatter, it's okay, man. We're here for you, brother. We're building that muscle memory, and we're gonna get better at this.
Mistakes are how better decision-making things occur. You know, you look at the mistake you made and you correct it the next time around.
So, Chad, who do you think steps up in this offense for the Minnesota Vikings behind Alexander Mattison? I think it's pretty clear after last year that Kevin O'Connell does like to deploy a little bit of a running back by committee approach. So I think it's going to be Ty Chandler. What say you? You also have Kene in Wagnu there I think he's from the 2021 draft class, and he's got some pretty good speed too, but I don't think he's got very good vision or receiving ability, or I just don't think he's very good.
Second attempt at signing a Patreon. What's Swift look like on Philly? Hopefully like a good receiver. He's been completely underutilized the past couple of years here.
Oh man, Swamp Dog. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. What's going? Why can't you get into Patreon? Was it like the logging? It's freezing. What's going on there? That's weird. Are you talking about the Discord or the actual Patreon? Swift in Philly. I think Swift is projected for close to a 30% opportunity share with receiving work. And it's the same as Rashad Penny. I think it's going to be another running back by committee approach, but you're probably going to have some spike games in there. You also have a high fragility with Swift and Penny, big time. So you got Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott that are going to be getting work as well. I think Kenneth Gainwell is projected for about 15%, and then Boston Scott about 5%.
You know, Boston Scott's good for one multi-touchdown game a year. You never know when it's going to be, but he's good for one. I would
love to, Anani.
I love that.
You might have to email me, and we'll have to bring you on board, man, because I just don't have the time right now. Now, my schedule is just absolutely insane right now. My work and family schedule, but I'm hoping that we get into the heart of the summer here, another month or so. I'll have more time to create more videos, get back to creating more videos during the week. But right now, it's all I can do to keep up.
Some Swift. I got some nice. I got one really nice Swift card that I've been hanging on to. So I'm hoping he comes back.
Thinking going Chig there. Got him 10 picks past ADP too, man. I'm going to take him. Because I already feel pretty good about my running backs. Could have actually, I think Jerick McKinnon's a good pick there too. I like Roschon Johnson too, man, because I feel like you guys in Chicago are gonna have that same approach, and Roschon is a dog.
Man, that's usually there's a problem figuring out who, if anyone, is going to be the runner. But I think the problem here is figuring out who isn't going to be the runner. We got 3 good options, you know.
Swamp Donkey, what is? I think that I thought you were already in. Let me see. Let me do a search for you. Why don't you send me an email, ffcardlink@gmail.com here. Send me an email, and I'll look at it, because I could have swore you were already in there. Send me an email with your name that you signed up with. Is the hitman out of Best Western? B Yeti. It looks like he's actually out of Holiday Inn Express. That's how he.
I just, no matter where I'm at, Andy, I'm here for the draft, no matter what.
I gotta have some kind of correlation on this roster. Really struggling here with the way I accidentally started out with Hurts and Burrow. I already took. I guess I'm gonna end up taking Alec Pierce. That was an auto pick, but I guess it was a design one. Actually, NVS would have been. He's a great best ball candidate.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you didn't take him because that's who I had lined up to go with my Pat Mahomes stack since somebody grabbed Sky from me.
Mims might be a good late season.
Lambskin. Nice, Chad. Thank you, sir, man. This is my all-time fave.
They don't, Chad. It's more of nostalgic and collection purpose. I think it's fun to highlight old cards and throw up some highlights from these former greats. So I know there's a lot of fans out there of the early 2000s to late 2000s refractors and game worn patches and all that kind of stuff, but they don't move enough to flip per se, like what we like to do with the young guys. So,
Right. There's not going to be any spike weeks, right? They're not playing anymore. But
yeah, what's driving the hype? There's not.
But
There's
at the
no.
same time, there's some things that just happen that you can't explain, like to cross over. Going back to what you and Carter were talking about the 2020, card boom. Basketball was kind of the first thing to kick it off with the Kobe's and stuff like that. But then there was other players that just you didn't know why their card values went up, like Hakeem Olajuwon rookies just went off the grid up. So old player cards can have massive spikes for no reason too. But again, on a week to week basis, there's not the same drive as there is for like active players. Goff Gold Kaboom. Dang, that's dope. Is it a Lions uniform or Rams?
Where's Quez Watkins? I know you're out there, Quezzy. Come on, Quezzy.
Oh, damn, Laporta just went. No crap.
Big week 17 from you. Come to Papa, Quez. Go ahead and start up a couple more of these late round RBs. I didn't get Bijan in this one. We're going to start.
Derek, are you talking about Hakeem from the 80s WWF? That guy was a beast.
Is anybody going to sign Leonard Fournette?
He's
what the hell, man?
He's probably contingent on his off-season training regimen, I suppose. I mean, we know he's got the skill. He's going to have to get a little bit of that speed back.
Ty Chandler. Here we go.
What do we got for receivers? 1, 2,
Sleeper
3, 4,
snipe
5,
of the night
6.
for you guys.
We'll go there.
Yes. Sorry, Ram. Okay, let's see. What do we got? No.
One-man gang.
One down here. I go ahead and do.
Yeah, man. Legion of Doom, Tom. Legion of Doom. Those guys were amazing. Demolition. Yeah, there was what? They were 3 guys at one point, but I think it was 2 towards the end. Legion of Doom was Hawk and Animal. Demolition was Axe and Smash. There it was. Clutch was the third guy. I knew there was a third guy at some point. I think they, towards the end of their careers, I think they got it down to 2. Derek about 3 cone.
Dang. I think I might have.
Where's the Brooklyn Brawler Super Fractor 1 of 1? That's what I'm looking for. Ooh, I see a Irv Smith selection there.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, is that you? Oh no, you were going for him?
Yeah, I needed him because he's the only possible correlation I could have gotten with Joe Burrow.
There's no other Bengals left?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's okay. We're going to pivot. We're going to take Jalen Warren way past his ADP.
You know,
we're going to try and hang in there best as possible, man, but
Draws and Sunny. Red Rooster goal. Andy, are you knowledgeable in the 80s and 90s WWF lingo or trivia, I should say? We got a lot of
went to a
WWF
wrestling match.
Yeah, I love to see it.
Whenever I was a kid, I went to a wrestling match and got to see Hulk Hogan and the little midgets. Do you remember the little guys who wore like little army uniforms? They wore tank tops, but the black tank tops, but they wore camo pants. Yeah, I think that was the Bushwhackers.
They lived in Clearwater. They were friends with Hogan. They lived down there. But
the Bushwhackers were big guys, weren't they?
Yeah, they weren't midgets. They were shorter, but they weren't midgets.
Pretty sure these were dwarfs.
Speaking of Hogan, I think I told you my last visit back in June of last year. I did see Hogan again. He actually gave me a big thumbs up when I walked past him.
That's cool.
He must.
That was the extent of my wrestling. And then I did watch some wrestling growing up. You know, when The Rock was big and popular, like back in the WWF and SmackDown. I went to a SmackDown event actually. Yeah, that's when what's his name? Triple H. And Christian. I can't remember his last name. And The Rock and Mankind.
Oh man, that was
and the Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was like one of the main headliners.
That could be like the best era. You know what I mean? That hard to ever beat. You know, that lineup. That's just like so many legends all at one time.
But then I think that was before then I got into football. That was around the time I stopped playing baseball and got into football. About the time I started high school. I fell out of, why. I had a couple friends that watched a lot of wrestling and stuff, but I didn't got into football and stuff.
Chad, IRS, man. That's what I'm talking about. His kid's a wrestler now too. Both of his kids are wrestlers. Yeah, Andy, that was like my prime, but I did take a couple years off, only like 2-3 years, but I have gotten back into it. In fact, they were just here 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but I will be going next time they come back, man. It's a good time. It is a good time. If you've never been to a live show. All right, my pick's coming back around. What are we going to do here?
I don't know, man. I got 7
receivers, and we got a couple rounds left, 3 rounds left, so I should probably take one more. One more, right?
What are you taking? Another receiver?
Probably should. You mother. Okay, maybe I'm not taking a receiver this round. Damn, that really threw me off.
Did you already pick?
No, that's who I was taking next.
Oh, Hunter Renfro.
Shit. All right, I guess I'm going here again. He sat around so long, I thought there was no way anybody was grabbing him up, but that's why you always have a backup plan. Hey, have a good night, Scatter.
Peace out, player. See you, Scatter.
Chad,
Yeah,
we gotta. I don't know if you watch the pay-per-views or not. We should have like a pay-per-view live or something.
Who the hell is Chase Brown? Chase Brown is a rookie. 5th round rookie. Already 23 years old coming out. Wow. Pretty solid profile, though, man. Pretty solid profile. Dominated at Illinois. 4.43 at 5'10", 209. That puts him at a 30 BMI. That's an 89th percentile speed score. Actually, not a bad stash. Being on the Bengals with an uncertain Joe Mixon status. And Chris Evans being undersized and receiving back, no more Samaje Perine. Actually, Chris Brown is an interesting sleeper. Did he go? Did somebody draft him? These bastards. That guy just drafted him. Dang. Okay. I'm not going to keep drafting players I don't need. Gus Edwards? Somebody may pick up Kareem Hunt. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Ty Chandler.
2 rounds left, huh?
Yeah. Yep. 2 rounds left, man. Yep. Actually, wow. Okay. Michael Carter's out there. He needs to be picked up. Yeah, definitely could make a couple of these pickups here. Cordell Patterson, Michael Carter, Pierre Strong, Zamir White. I do have Josh Jacobs too. Yeah, this is
It's getting thin out there.
2672. Nah, I'm not really buying that a whole lot, Tom. I think he could steal some touchdowns, maybe, but I think that's kind of baked in.
That guy's definitely a vulture. Derek, I agree. I think their ADP is way too far apart.
Well, I think it's the fragility around Damian Harris at this point.
Well, he was hurt last year.
A lot of lower body injuries.
He was hurt last year, but the guy had over 200 carries the year before.
I think there's opportunity in the Buffalo backfield this year, for sure.
There's definitely a lot. Like you said, there's enough to feed everybody, you know.
They want to deploy a more balanced offense with a better run game, but James Cook is the number one in my book. James Cook is the number one. Damian Harris is on a 1-year, $1.7 million contract. There's no more Singletary. There's no more Moss. I get it if you want Cook, if you want Harris to be a grinder, but I think the high-valued dynamic play designs are going to be around Cook. I thought you were a lot higher on Cook, Derek. I'm a lot higher on Cook than that. Derek's got this weird affection for Damian Harris. He always has. He wanted me to draft him over Ramondre Stevenson last year, and I remember us having that debate last year. And thank God I drafted Ramondre over Damian Harris and pretty much everywhere.
Oh well,
but
yeah, I mean he was dominating until the injury situation happened.
All right, let's look at the game log.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do this.
So weeks 1 through 5, last year Damian Harris had, or weeks 1 through 4, he had a 40% snap share on average, and took double-digit touches. Is this our last pick?
Yeah. Patterson's a great pick this late, man. Honestly.
Yeah, it's not bad. He had 9 carries week 1, 15, 11, 18, and I mean, okay, so what was, let me get out my calculator. Oops, or other way around, 87 divided by 15. Yeah, that's a pretty good efficiency there in week 2 against Pittsburgh. It's 87 total yards, though, so I don't know how much of that was his overall yards per carry last year, 4.4. Was
I think that was
game log.
You pretty happy with your second team here, Andy?
No. Not at all.
No.
But thank you for asking. How about you?
Yeah, no, I am. I didn't get maybe some of the receivers I wanted, but you know, I went deep at the position like you have to in these formats, so you know, you don't always get the guy you want, but hopefully you get the guy you need. And overall, I'm pretty happy. You can't be mad starting 1-2 with Mahomes and Kelsey.
Heck yeah, man. Nice. Very nice.
Well, it's unfortunate we couldn't get everyone in here, but I'm glad that everyone stuck around and kept the chat going, and even got to split off and do a little nostalgia from the 80s and 90s in the form of some WWF convo.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, I'm out. I got to go to bed. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream tonight. Had a good time. Steve, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you too, Andy. Thanks for running another one. It's always fun to do a little unexpected draft at the end of the night.
Always, always, sir. All right, guys. See you next time. Peace.